Bard College is in my district, so grateful to have it. And I just want to say Project Pivot, thank you for thinking of that. It's used to help reduce and prevent violence. I'm just wondering how the funding for this project is allocated, how much funding is actually put into it. Are the schools receiving it or are the community-based organizations receiving it?
You want to speak to that, but let me just say before you can get to the number,
Yes.
BARD as well as Pivot were put into your district because we heard from the people in the district. So I just want to make that distinction because we've heard a lot about the fact that there's been a lot of things, with community voices not heard. Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of the numbers.
Thank you very much for the question. We're spending about $15 million on Project Pivot this year. As the Chancellor said, that's supporting about 250 schools. And the money's, this is about supporting the CBOs working in those school communities and the CBOs that have been there a long time to support those school communities.
So does the money go to the CBOs or to the schools to spend down to get to the CBOs? Are the schools giving the money to the CBOs? How's that working?
The money's in a contract with the CBO.
With the CBO, okay, yes. Great. And then Chancellor, I just want you to know that I'm paying for library upgrades and all kind of technical stuff in my schools. I bought a calming space with my discretionary funds. Thank you to my speaker. I'm just wondering, when does my responsibility get to pull back and this actually be a responsibility at DOE to take care of instead of me and my little bit of $265,000 trying to solve a problem of a library or technical issues in my district?
Listen, we are funding these schools and trying to provide as many of the supports as we possibly can. We absolutely also rely on other elected officials to do the best that you can to help plug the gaps. We don't always expect that we can fill every single need that every single school has, and we try to fill the greatest needs. We may not always have the funding to have a room like a calming room, yeah. and in fact, in light of the class size law, we may not be able to do that anyway because that room may now have to be repurposed for the purpose of class size. So, and that's not a knock on anything. It's just simply to say that we all have a role to play here, and I think together, as long as we continue to work together, we will try to plug as many of the gaps as we possibly can.
It gets a bit expensive, and it's much harder for my public schools, non-charter schools, to get things done through the School Construction Authority. I just want to put that out there. When money goes to the charter schools, they put things up in a minute. My schools are waiting time at the time, all kind of processes. So if we can work on that together, I'd be glad to. Mm-hmm.